What's the price for your life? Opposition wouldn't know. I got a penny for your thoughts and got a nickel for your soul. That's the best I can do. That's the best I can do. I'm old buddy from Pawn Stars. As I'm gripping out the window while I peek through the blinds, I've seen multiple tragedies like 10 at a time. Flies monkey in the jungle when I swing through the vines, and they only give a damn if I make this shit rhyme. Every race that I was in, man, I always came last, so ain't no running from nothing. I ain't going nowhere fast. I had a couple obstacles that I had to get past. You couldn't walk a day in my shoes and traumatize your bitch ass, and that was toxic. But I'm trying to get better. Ghetto dreams of whipping Cadillacs with wood grain and leather. Come with nightmares of cutting rug, me and the devil. Something about a picnic, something about weather. Something about birds of a feather flocking together. But I ain't no bird nigga, so leave me the hell alone. I done walked through hell alone. Always got a weapon on, smartest in the class, but never learned my lessons. So ain't no time for mess because my parents is boomers. The way I saw the world became apparent way sooner. On the side of the city, even granny keep a Ruger. Play with her money, she'll clap at your medulla. Oblong got her, I ain't got a flex. Ain't wear my seatbelt, but I had a whole lot of wrecks. Mama was pacing back and forth, a whole lot of stress. I was a young and I ain't understand yet. But I digress. That's the closest thing I know to do to singing the blues. Where them children run up on you with them rusty G2s. They in jail before the sun up, ain't no going to school. And they mama tripping court like what the hell did he do? I ain't no wolf but ain't no sheep, so you can take a step back. And you won't find me on the east without that thing in my lap. I pray I never have to aim it at my brothers. In fact, I'd much rather go to war with those who holding us back. But something like that. Yeah, that's fire. That's fire.
Cash, man. That was fire, man. Welcome to the program, y'all.
Let's go, man.
This is EVK. We here sitting with Cash, one of my favorite guitar players here in Birmingham, Alabama. He's got that smooth sound and soulful sounds, man.
Appreciate that, man.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you, man. You got me in here working, bro. You got me in here sweating. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. So this is something new, a new way of doing things, and getting the word out to the people, just letting them know that we're here. We got guitar lessons available. We got people like Cash who's hanging out with us, who's going to show us a few things about, let's just get into it. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Let's just get into it.
Yeah.
So like, tell us the people about how you got started playing guitar. What inspired you to play guitar?
Well, I come from one of those really big music families. My father's side of the family, they are very tapped into, their soul and gospel roots. My father played bass. I'm saying played like he don't anymore. He's still kicking and he's still out here in these streets. My father plays bass. One day my pop saw a saxophone at a pawn shop for like $300 and he bought it and tried to play it. Does he know what he's doing? No. Can he make a tune out of that thing and make it sound good? Yes, and so like that's kind of that side of my family, and like nobody taught me how to play blues. Nobody taught my grandmama and them how to sing the blues. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then like on my mom's side of the family, there's a long lineage of piano players, and my mother was classically trained, my aunt classically trained, and so I've kind of got an ear for some of the more I don't necessarily want to say complex, but just some of the more nuanced. I call them uppity and sedity myself, but like I know a waltz when I hear it. I know a polka when I hear it, because like I've got memories of my mother reading sheet music, just pulling out music or whatever, and so those two worlds kind of collided because my parents are both church musicians, and so they were always facilitating the music for, you know, whatever service. If somebody died that was black in like a 30-mile radius from my little small town, they had to play at the funeral, you know, weddings, things like that. And so I was kind of steeped in that type of music culture. And one day my pops bought me a guitar. Mind you, you know, he's a bass player. He's looking for somebody to jam with. He's low-key kind of selfish. He bought me a guitar and was like, you gonna learn this. And of course, I mean, at the time, I'm like 7 or 8 years old. I don't really understand what this man is handing me. You know, I remember it was Christmas. I had a K electric guitar. It was my first guitar. And I didn't really know what to do with it, you know, because you're so young. And I didn't even tell him, like, hey, I want to play guitar. Like, no, it was none of that. And for a while there, you know, I felt like I kind of let him down because it was just a giant, expensive toy to me. And then I remember, you know, as I got older, I remember watching School of Rock with Jack Black. That did a number on me. And that's kind of where I got the drive and the passion to want to create music. And, you know, I started teaching myself some things. And, you know, I never had lessons. I'm self-taught, but there were always people who would, you know, come through at like an evening service of my church. They'd be in like a quartet group or something. Or I would find like old cassette tapes of my pops jamming with some of his friends, and I'd pop that in, and I'd be listening. I'd be trying to figure it out, you know. And that's kind of my foundation, just, you know, using my ear to pick out melodies. Of course, you know, with my mom being a piano player, I've kind of always had an ear for chords. And, you know, like I said, that's basically where I started.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you said one side was the blues and the other side was more classically trained.
Yeah, but when I say classically trained, understand that take that lightly. Take that with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, my mom is very much so like the church musician, piano player, like, you know.
She just happens to read music and pick up a lot
exactly.
a lot more just through reading music.
Because my grandparents, they you know, my grandfather was military, and my grandmother, she was college educated as well. They were both, you know, they wanted their children to, like, if you're going to do music, you're going to do it the right way. You going to do it. You going, you know, and so that's how that whole, you know, thing kind of came together. But yeah. Oh yeah, no, I should have got my hair did. I know it's gonna be all this. You gotta be out here looking crazy.
Nah, man. Bro. So I was actually gonna talk to you about that too.
Let's do it.
It looks good, man. I appreciate the hair, so we had to make a quick adjustment. It's gonna be done in the edits because I want to make sure we get the full scope of the dude, man.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure, like myself, people have probably
compared
you.
Oh my God! It's not the okay. You see how crazy that is.
People
right?
have compared you to some artists out here because you have a guitar and you have a fro.
Right.
A couple of them for me have been Jimi Hendrix, Lenny Kravitz, John Legend. So it's like we both get it.
Yeah, no, bro. It's when you got your braids in, as soon as you start taking them out, it's like, Jimmy.
Right.
Jimmy, is that you? It's like, no, bro. But yeah, of course, you know, and it's funny, like, as I was at the mercy of whatever music my parents, you know, like threw at me, right? And so my mom was like, if it's not Motown or gospel, it's the devil. That's my mom in a nutshell. But my dad was a little bit more cool about, like, check out this B.B. King, you know, like check out this Creedence Clearwater Revival, you know, like whatever. And so, like, it was a minute before I had actually heard Jimmy's music. I had heard his music through, like, Stevie Ray Vaughan and, like, John Mayer and, like, other people. But the first time I listened to, like, his music, I was like, oh, this is where everybody's stealing from. Like, he the one that everybody, oh, it's like, okay, he's the originator, you know?
Yeah.
And, of course, Lenny Kravitz, like, man, I hate, because, like, we do not look alike, bro, at all. It's like people know of a light-skinned guitar player, and that's the one that pops in their head, and they're just like, okay, he got an afro, he got a guitar, he must be.
Exactly. I mean, it's just what it is for us, man.
So. It's rough out here, man. It's rough. It's rough.
All right, so you were saying back to your parents. Okay, so gospel, that was one of the driving forces. Blues, another one of the driving forces. Motown, you mentioned. So when did you start to develop your own voice through all of this? Because we did a song that was neither of those, and you know, you got some verses, so I know you have some hip hop influences, some rap influences. Tell me about that.
Okay, so I grew up in a small town that was nestled off in, like, imagine like you took like a chunk of, like, give me any random city in the South.
Birmingham.
Imagine you took like 10 blocks of Birmingham and you like cut it out and you like picked it up and you dropped it in the middle of nowhere. That's kind of like where I grew up. Like, I grew up in this
couple
little
street lights and a stop sign.
Yeah, it's like, imagine like a little slice of Black America surrounded by, you know, middle of nowhere, Egypt, Morocco, Cambodia. Like, I say those random countries just to emphasize how like off in the cut Scottsboro, Alabama really is, you know? But anyways, and so with that being said, I had exposure to what was going on in, you know, Huntsville, Chattanooga, Atlanta, in ways that would trickle through in little tidbits, right? But it would always take a minute before I got to Scottsboro. So as far as you know, my personal style developing, it took me kind of taking a step back from guitar for a while. Whenever school got to where, you know, band was a thing, I started playing saxophone. And of course, I was always decent at reading music. It was never really my thing. I kind of cheated myself throughout my middle school and high school years because I was really just like using the music as a guide and playing more so with my ear, because you got to understand, I've been playing by ear since I'm like 7, 8 years old, right? And so, you know, you've got that influence of just like, you know, marching band music and blah 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 blah. But at the same time, like my brothers, man, I got some brothers who you know, I got some kinfolk who, you know, they out here a little bit as far as you know, the hip hop world goes. Like I've got family that's, you know, 4 or 5 mixtapes in. I've got families that's DJs and all of that, you know. And so one of my most memorable moments of my childhood is there was a party in my neighborhood, like this abandoned laundromat that we would party in every once in a while. And they're like, "Oh, we need a DJ. Who's can DJ?" And I was just like, "I can DJ." I'm lying. I have no idea how to DJ, you know. And you know, old buddy was cool. He let me borrow the equipment, and I'm in real time trying to figure it out, you know. And so like,
nice.
I just had a lot going on around me musically, you know. And my brother is an amazing MC, amazing rapper, but he's a lot older than me. Like, this man he remembers mourning Tupac, right? And so you met my brother, and he was always on that, like, if you're going to do this, you have to appreciate the artistry behind it, right? So it's like he would quiz me. He'd be like, "Name 4 members of Wu-Tang Clan right now, go." Like, wow. You know, it's like, what was Tupac's 3rd studio album? Like, he was a force in making sure I understood and appreciated
the history,
the history, the artistry, the penmanship, all of that. And so that naturally had me gravitating towards like creative writing and things like that in school. I was always good at literature. And so for a long time, these two worlds never crossed. Like, you had my musicianship, the kid that excelled in playing saxophone and played guitar at church, right? And then you had the kid that was, you know, deep into you know, Nas and Wu-Tang and you know, all the things hip hop that somebody my age at the time might not have quite been into, because it was a little bit behind, because I'm listening to my brother's music. I'm listening to Nappy Roots in like 09.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like I'm a little bit behind what's going on, and I wasn't really feeling the mainstream. And for a while, like, I couldn't figure out how to make these two worlds collide. But eventually I figured it out. I figured, you know, I found a pocket. I figured out how to create music that is the perfect foundation for the type of bars I want to rap, the type of shit I want to talk, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. It's more of conscious rap, not just talking about, the same things we hear on the radio.
Yeah. And once again, that goes from I'm pulling from a different source than a lot of I don't even like being called a rapper because it gets on my nerves, because I don't even really want to be associated with, and it's no disrespect, it ain't no shade, it's all love, but like I don't want to be associated with the folks that are attempting for a more mainstream sound. Like I want you to know from the jump, don't get it twisted. Like I'm doing something different. This is something that's a little bit more off the cuff. But yeah.
So we're here in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, we are here in Birmingham.
And you're performing. You do perform? Do you perform?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So what are some of the bands you're playing with, or what are some of the things you're working on?
You can so first and foremost, Soul Carnival with a K. If you search it with a C, some weird stuff gonna pop up. We ain't quite made it like that yet. But Soul Carnival with a K. That was really my first band, first baby. That's kind of where I figured out how to merge those two worlds, like I was telling you about. We here lately we've been doing a lot of shows in Huntsville, a lot of shows in Gadsden. We're gonna break into Montgomery here in the spring. We've done some shows in Chattanooga in the past. We've got about 3 studio albums out, a couple EPs. We got another album on the way. We actually got a double album on the way. You got to get on that. By the way,
sure.
Yeah. And then of course Swanglish. Swanglish is just such a cool group of musicians, and like conceptually, it's so unique. You've got my brothers from another motherland, the DeLima family. They've got this East African influence, this African vibe that they bring to the table, and of course you've got this jazz fusion element to it all. And when it comes together, my brother Vonnie, he's an amazing rapper, an amazing songwriter, and he does his thing, and we've made that hodgepodge of genres and different people mix and groove together. It's really something awesome to witness. And right now we just got an EP out with Swanglish. They're a little bit younger as far as the duration and time in which we've been doing music together. We recently met in college like a couple years ago. So, and then of course, man, I'm out here in these church trenches, yo. Like, man,
church is big out here.
I can't tell you how many times, like at one time, me and my brother, we were holding down 5 churches between the two of us.
Wow.
5. Right? So like, and
that's actually how we met, didn't it?
Yeah, I met you
at
at
church revival.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly, in Hueytown. But yeah, so I mean, and here's my thing. As far as the church goes, I was always under that sphere of influence where it's like, oh, you got the world and you got the church, right? You got the world and you got the church, and you got to pick, you got to choose. And I'm like, ain't nobody bringing the church to the world. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm a product of, my church family, my congregation. You people raised me. Do you trust me to go take this same energy and take it into a place that's full of, sinners, heathens, whatever you want to call them? Because at the end of the day, like I don't see anything wrong with taking a moment, no matter where you're at, and giving praise to the Most High. I don't care where you at, what you doing. I don't care if you in a hole in the wall dive bar surrounded by all the heathens and all the sinners, whatever, bro. Like if that's what you got to do, you got to do. And I firmly believe that. And so.
Yeah, the church is within us. You
take
exactly. The church where you go by being a good example. At least that's the way I see it. By set a positive example.
Absolutely.
Because people are either going to be drawn to your light, or they're going to be withdrawn from your light. And when they see the type of life you live, and if you're claiming that you go to church or claiming that you do these type of things, but you're acting a certain way, that's what's going to turn people off from not even believing or coming to the church. So
absolutely,
you have
100.
to be a representation wherever you go.
Yeah, 100%. And here lately, I've noticed that at the end of the day, there's a certain feeling, there's a certain emotion, there's a certain therapy that people are chasing. And like, bruh, let me tell you, I've been in front of a crowd of people at some random venue, and I'm shredding my little solo or whatever, and I see there is this similar energy to when I'm at St. Luke and I'm playing We'll Understand It Better By and By, and I'm looking out into the congregation, and I'm seeing a similar energy, and I'm like, there's a common denominator here. There's something that we're chasing. There's a therapy that we are chasing in this music, and I feel like if you got that gift, yo, like you gotta show it. You gotta spread it to as many people as you can while we here. Cause,
absolutely.
You know. But yeah.
So what would you say is your message for what you do? Like, do you when I'm on stage, you know, of course I want to share a piece of myself with the audience, and you know, I want them to feel something. You know, it doesn't always have to be dance, party,
right.
when that's a lot of times what our generation is into, like the party, the club, and the shaking your ass and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No shade again, you know what I'm
course.
saying? Dude, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But when you create that that type of let's say emotion, but you're trying to create like a whole moment in your environment, whether it's like a blues song, a gospel song, a rock song, there's a type of mood, because I want to take people on a roller coaster. With my music, like, you know, where they're not just dancing, but they're like, man, take me in a spaceship and where we're going. You know, we're going somewhere, whether their mood be high or take them low when it slows down or something like that. So kind of, what are you thinking when you're playing songs or moves? Like, are you trying to take people somewhere? Are you trying to impress them? Or are you just trying to shred and just, you know, be in a place where it'd be like, look at me, I'm a great guitar player?
See, I love this question. I love this question because if you had asked me that, you know, some years ago, it'd be a completely different, you know, answer. But now that I've grown a little bit, you know, I got a college degree and realized that it ain't nothing but a piece of paper in the long scheme of things. At the end of the day, if you qualified for a job, you can, you know, right? And so now that I'm at where I'm at now, it's like I don't really feel like I've got a whole lot to prove to nobody, right? And so, you know, I've been a part of some really, really awesome acts of music and put out some really good music, and it's like, at this point, it's like, hey, if you don't believe I'm good at guitar, you don't think that I'm a decent songwriter, like, hey, fine, whatever. There's other places we can go with this thing, you know. And I'm more so at this point in my life concerned with talking my shit. And like the question you're asking me is really like crafting a set list. Like when I'm putting together a set list, you know, for Soul Carnival, for example, it's like I'm not just trying to show people, hey, we're amazing musicians and we can play. And at the same time, I'm not just trying to show people like, hey, you know, me and Dobbs can rap. Like it's a little bit more complicated than that. I'm more so trying to evoke some emotion. If there's somebody out there that appreciates what it is that I'm trying to put out into the universe, all it takes is one person, and I'm not gonna stop talking my shit ever. As long as there's one person that's like, hey, keep doing what you're doing, bet I'm straight, you know. And so that like where I'm at now, it's not that I have a particular message, like I have a particular goal. It's just the type of like music that I make. And you know, my brother Dobbs, he's my partner in crime, you know, lyrically, composition wise, as far as like writing the words. Like you can't stop an artist from doing art, right? So like if I put you in a jail cell and gave you nothing but a piece of paper and a pencil, like you're going to create art if you're an artist. If you're not an artist, then it is what it is. But money's not a motivator. There's nothing here that's going to guarantee you success by doing this. But yet, if you're an artist, you're still going to do that, right? And so this is more so like a type of therapy for me and my bro. And if that can help somebody along the way, because like, bro, when I'm talking about shit, like this ain't fiction. I'm not, you know, writing like hypothetical, like what ifs in my, like I'm giving you pain. I'm giving you like what I experienced, things I've seen from my perspective. And, you know, that's the only way I know how to do it. I give anything if I could write short stories of fiction and get paid off of it. But I ain't figured out how to do that yet. So here we are rapping.
Yeah, it's an expression. Like it's really an expression of self.
Yeah.
Other people resonate with it and they get emotional about it because when you're speaking your truth, you be surprised at how many other people can relate to what you're saying because they've been through a similar situation. They've come through a similar situation. Many of us have had hardships, and so when you're putting it into words and making it all over a beat, that's just a perfect recipe for it to get in someone's heart.
Absolutely.
Like, then they'll be riding down the street. They'll be like, man, I love that stuff. Or they're listening to it in their car, and now they're cruising to it. They identify with it.
Exactly.
And now you have a fan for life.
Yeah. And all it takes is just as long as there's one person that's co-signing, I'm straight. I'm good. I don't need no million fans, followers, no. Yeah. No. As long as there's somebody out there that appreciates what I'm putting out to the universe, I'm good.
Yeah.
Straight
and
up.
if you keep doing that, man, that is what success is. It's the fulfillment of being able to express yourself for one. And if you can get paid doing it, if you figure that part out, that's icing on the cake.
Right.
Because you're going to do it regardless.
Yeah, that's the difficult part is figuring that part out. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of talented people out here, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cats out here that's way colder than I am, bro. But when it comes down to it, songwriting is one of those things where can't nobody really teach you how to do it, unfortunately. I went to music school for mainly to try to figure out what it is to do music professionally. And I remember that, kind of like let down when I realized like, oh, can't nobody teach you how to write no song. You gotta kind of figure that out on your own. Because I can teach you how I write a song and you can teach me how you write your song, but that might not work for the next man.
Right.
Next, whatever. So yeah.
There's different approaches to writing songs because some people like to start with the melody. Some people like to start with the rhythm. Some people like to start with, the drums or whatnot. It just depends on what platform I'm using is going to depend on how I start a song.
Of course.
But yeah, you're right about that. Where can people find you, Cash?
Man.
You have some stuff on SoundCloud.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking I'm so off in the trenches. I'm like, man, I live off in Tarrant. I live over there by the beef. No, but no. So
on social media.
My name is Cash Cotton on Facebook, and I do a decent bit of communication on there. My Instagram's Granvielle. I get on there maybe like thrice a year. I ain't really in those Instagram trenches like that. But as far as music goes, if you're interested in some of the songs that I've written and composed myself and produced myself, you can go check out my SoundCloud at Granvielle. It's GranVielle. The piece that we were just doing, I believe it's on SoundCloud. Eventually, I'm going to put all that stuff on Spotify when I get it, really solidified and mixed and mastered. But also, that facilitates as kind of a place for demos for, Soul Carnival and maybe even Swangles to sit. So sometimes you'll go to my SoundCloud and you'll hear something, and then some months later you'll hear it released by Soul Carnival. It's because I decided to take that and use it as a, things of that nature. And of course, Soul Carnival with a K, we out here, yo. We 3 albums deep, finna be 4. All kinds of music on the way. We on all platforms, yo. Apple Music, Spotify, Groove Shark, LimeWire, you name it, bro. We out here. You was supposed to laugh at that, but we ain't really on LimeWire. And of course, Swanglish. We like I said, we've got the EP out on all streaming platforms. Y'all got to go check us out. But yeah.
Okay. I was thinking of this last question, Cash. So you did catch me off guard with that LimeWire.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of this last question because I'm going to catch you off guard now.
Do it to it.
So my last question is, what is the meaning of life?
What? Bro, I don't know. What are you talking about? I have no idea. Listen, when I tell you I have no idea, I have not the slightest clue. I don't even know what music is. Like, if you ask me to, like, define music, I don't know. Because, like, I could give you, like, the, music school definition about like, oh, some lines and some spaces and some melodies and but that doesn't explain like why does grandmama cry when she sings Amazing Grace? That doesn't explain that, you know. That doesn't explain like how come when you got like $47 to make it through the week and then Kendrick Lamar All Right come on the radio, all of a sudden you and your feelings crying in the club. Like it doesn't explain that, you know. So like I don't these broad questions, like I ain't acquired enough wisdom in my life yet. You know, ask me again in 50. Ask me in 50. Ask me when I got a gray white afro. You know what I'm saying? I ain't there yet.
All right.
Yeah,
I got
no.
you.
No.
Cash, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, big dog. Big respect to everything you got going, man. I really admire your energy, what you're doing here with this platform, and I salute you. Anything we can do to support you, bro, just holla at us. Real talk.
Right on.
So yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. One more again.